Oh, wait, hold on. Is it working? Can you guys let me know in the private chat and see if it's actually working? The link is wrong in the communications. The link for the YouTube live. Can you send me the link, Alejandro, please, so I can change it up? Because I think it is wrong. Give me one sec. Okay, I see it. I think I got it right this time. I think the person that set this up didn't get the correct one, but I should have updated the link now. Let me just double check. Perfect. Yeah, should work now. All right, we should see more people coming in at the moment. That should be good. There we go. So you guys weren't able to see last week's webinar either? Yeah, right now I'm taking you guys to this link right here. So I think that one should work. And I see more people coming in now, so I think it should be good. As long as you guys are able to see me on YouTube and all that stuff, or you're joining from the community, should be working pretty well now. Let me just check the chat just in case before I start with everything. Okay. And we should be all good. All right. Perfect. So I'm going to wait one more minute to get a couple more people trickling in before I start posting links and all that stuff. Let me, yeah, just wait for a second for that, and then we'll get going with everything. All right. Okay. You guys let me know if you can hear me well, if you can see my screen. Let me go ahead and share it for you guys. Awesome. Let's see if I can do a side by side here. Okay. Interesting. I'll put it in full screen. Should be good. There you go. You guys, I would just want you guys to be able to see everything instead. There we go. Okay, so we're all good now. Let's do this. I'm gonna put my face real quick first. All right. So, fellas, I'm super excited for doing this webinar today just because a lot of good things are going to come out of this, especially you guys being able to use multiple different time zones from one singular calendar, which is something that you guys probably haven't done right now and something that will be a native feature later on down the road with Synthflow. Not yet, but I'm going to show you how you guys can do it now, which is practically going to be a game changer for some of you. In a future webinar as well, I'm going to be showing you how to book meetings into multiple different calendars, which is a little more complex, but also possible, right? Now, mash these two together. Look, you can basically have something very powerful that you can utilize, right? One singular assistant for hundreds of locations, right? Instead of having to make hundreds of assistants. So, one assistant that is capable of doing a lot is better than hundreds of assistants, because I know it's a hassle to basically go in and do a bunch of the stuff over and over again, right? Okay. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump straight into how we can get this to work. But before I do that, let's first off give you guys the usual document that you guys have. This document is basically going to go over how to get in contact with me, how to work with my team if you want to implement with Synthflow, how to join my community, which is obviously where you're going to be able to get a lot of the resources from here, including free snapshots from Go High Level. The meeting recording of today, which I will change real quick so you guys have the correct one. Let me go ahead and do that. And then, of course, the prompt that we're going to be using today. All right, so let me go ahead and share this up with you guys. Just checking if all's good. Yep, all seems pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and pin that so you guys have it. What audio issue, Brian? I want to make sure you guys can hear me before I keep going. But I do have, it does seem like everything should be good. At least I can hear myself from my stream. Let me just double check to make sure. I want to make sure you guys can hear me before. Should be going. Alrighty. So we'll keep going with this. Let me go ahead and close this up, refresh. There's a couple of automations I want to go through with you guys, this being one of them. And then duplicating this one, and I'll show you guys another one right now. So this one, I'll show you how this is possible, but it's essentially pretty simple compared to how we can do it, how I've taught you guys to do it in the past as well. So we'll start off step by step. We're going to go ahead and talk about the assistant that I created, right? What voice I used, the new features, currently keeping you guys updated, obviously, because it's very important to keep you guys updated with everything. So let's go ahead and do that, right? In terms of the voice engines, version 1.0, version 2.0, right? Version 2.0, as I mentioned in the past webinars, has basically surpassed version 1.0 by far. It performs a lot better. It does things better. The LLM in comparison with the V2 is a lot better as well. So just make sure that you guys are using V2. It's just, there's no need to use V1 at this point. All right, so just use V2. Let me go ahead and make this bigger for you guys. GPT-4o, eventually we're going to be implementing the new GPT that came out, which is going to be very good. But for now, right, you guys will have GPT-4o, which works perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and go to the voices. For those of you who are new, do keep in mind that we have the imported ones, right? So essentially this is from 11 Labs. As you guys know, Synthflow uses 11 Labs to be able to get their voices. Now you're capable of importing a voice from 11 Labs that fits your needs. So you guys can basically go to 11 Labs, figure out what voices you like best, which obviously there's thousands and thousands of voices. And then you could just go ahead and put either the voice name right here. Let's do Angie, just a random one, and see. And as you can see, we have a couple here, right? So you can just go ahead and import the voices, or you could even plug in the ID of the 11 Labs voice, right? Q transfers are working with V2 now. Yep, definitely. They've been working for quite a bit now, Brian. But yeah, they're all good to go. Alrighty. Then you guys, this was already here, but you guys clone voices now. And you could do it natively through here. I would recommend that you do it through 11 Labs and then import it here, but it's up to you, of course. And of course, we also have 144 voices that we think are good from here. So do keep that in mind. Now, for those of you who are new, right? I did make a list of voices that you guys are capable of using, and I rated them from 1 through 20. So you guys are essentially able to just go through that list and figure out what you would like the best. All right. So I believe I pinned the list in the Academy chat, but if you guys have any trouble finding it, do let me know. I'm gonna see if I could find it for you guys right now, just in case, so that way you don't get left in the dust. It is no. Either way, it should be pinned. It should be pinned in the chat, in the Academy. So if you guys have any trouble finding it, obviously just message me and I can get you to it. Alrighty, let's do this. So those are essentially the capabilities of the voices that we have connected with 11 Labs. These haven't changed at all from the last times that I've explained them. They're basically the same, uh, except for fade out at interruption. As you guys know, we added this feature, which basically means that whenever you interrupt the bot, the volume goes down slowly to 0 over that many frames. So the more frames you have, the slower it stops slowing down, right? So that's one thing. Now, this is another thing, voice cancellation. So we basically remove the background noise now using Crisp. Essentially, if you have this in standard, you're going to slightly remove the background noise. If you have it in advanced, you're going to remove the background noise greatly. I typically have mine in advanced just because obviously I'd want no background noise. I just want to hear the actual person that's talking to the assistant. Very important to do so. And in that case, right, you're able to do it that way. And then in regards to this is a good update, right? So voicemail detections, right? A lot of you may believe that voicemails take quite a bit to analyze, right? But currently we're using a software that also takes into account the amount of seconds that it takes to get somebody on the phone. So if you ever listen to a call recording and the call recording says doesn't say anything for like the first 30 seconds, and it's just blank, it's more than likely just because of the software that we're using, which we're eventually going to be moving away from. Then it takes us about 30 seconds to actually identify whether it's a voicemail or not, and then 10 seconds to be able to end the call itself. Right? Typically, we see around 1 minute and 10 seconds. So that way, somebody actually ends up, well, we end up notifying you if it's a voicemail or not. All right. So that's basically so you guys understand the ML based form of voicemail detection. And then the time based is just one that actually just times it, right? So this is up to your preference. We definitely prefer the ML based compared to others. Now, nothing new over here. All is pretty much the same. We're gonna add new features as we go along this month, since we're finishing up the migration soon. Let's go ahead and go straight into the prompt and how this is going to work, right? So we're going to be basically performing a time zone scheduler, right? So we're going to be able to book into multiple time zones depending on what occurs throughout the call, right? Now, what are the things that you need in order for this to happen? First of all, you need to have um, the real-time booking call, right? So the API call for that. Now this you'll keep the same. It's pretty easy. You connect it to Go High Level, and it's essentially going to be able to book in that time depending on what the user and the assistant agree on throughout the call. But how do we go a step further, right? Now here, where it says Eastern time, this is you can basically select whatever time zone you would like to book in, right? Then here you're gonna move all of these to 2. It all depends on your preference. I prefer 2. Now, you can just go ahead and save that. Essentially, you're just connecting a calendar on Go High Level, which in this case, it would be, I'll show you right now. I would be booking into this calendar right here. Now, I basically set that real-time booking up. After setting up the real-time booking, I'm going to add a couple of info extractors, right? So appointment date, busy. This you only need one busy, so you could just select which one you want to do. So appointment date, which is specialized like this. So what was the confirmed date of the appointment in the user's time zone in this format? Month, day, year, hours, minutes, AM or PM. All right, and it's going to give it to you accordingly, correctly. Once you're able to do that, which I'm going to remove that actually. I'm going to add just example 1. There you go. Once you're able to do that, it's going to use that in an automation that I will show you guys in just a second. So busy is just identifying whether the user was busy or not. Callback requested is identifying whether the user wanted to requested a callback or not, like if they wanted to get called back. D and deactivated basically puts them on a do not disturb list. Appointment booked, we want to know if the appointment was booked or not. That's what this info extractor is for. We want to know if they were interested or not. And then that should be it for those. I can remove this one because that's just a duplicate. I was just testing some things before this call. Now, those are the only things that you need for this specifically. So we can go a little bit over the prompting itself. And obviously, guys, if you come across any questions, right, as we go about this, please let me know down in the chat below. I literally answer all of the questions. All right. So make sure you start asking them. Alrighty, let's go to it then. So the only thing you will change in your prompting is the appointment booking section. All right. So this is my appointment booking section. Right up to here. Here, right there. So let's go over it a little bit. So pretty much whenever somebody goes into appointment booking, because obviously you're sending, let's say it encourages the appointment booking here. Once it encourages the appointment booking, it's actually going to start booking the appointment down here using this section. All right. So the first thing it's going to do is ask them what time zone they're in, and then let them know that the meetings are booked in your specified time zone. In this case, right, it's Eastern time for me because I'm in Eastern time. Now here, I tell it to not proceed without collecting the user's time zone. And after this, once the user provides their time zone, make sure to provide 2 available times from the calendar for the user. Then ask, do either of those work for you? Once the user gives you a time, the assistant a time that works for them, let them know that they're going to send a calendar invite. So what is the best email address for that person, right? Because obviously we want to go ahead and send them calendar reminders. In order to do so, we need to have their email. So this is collecting their email right here. And then you have to tell things like this to the assistant. So do not proceed without collecting the user's email, because if not, it's going to proceed, right? No matter what. And after here, it says after collecting the email, make sure to book that time in the calendar provided to you. Now, once it books in that time, it's going to take this into account. So it's going to make sure to convert the appointment they want to book into EST time, but let the user know that they'll receive notifications about the appointment in their own time zone. And then the assistant should only say this if they're booking on a different time zone than EST, right? Because in my case, this is my original time zone. So, for example, if they're booking in EST time, they're not gonna hear this. But if they are booking in another time that's not EST, they are gonna hear this, and the assistant is gonna say something like, "All right, so I'm gonna announce the call in EST time, but keep in mind that you'll receive notifications in your own time zone." All right, that's basically what it's saying. Now, right here, let's go. And I just made it say something just out of the ordinary. But anyway, um, once it books the appointment, right, on the calendar, it's going to say this. Hallelujah. You're all set for your appointment on this is important, right? So right here. Month and number date of the appointment. So this is very important. Um, with the month and number date of the appointment, this is basically a variable. So these brackets mean that it's going to convert this into an actual word. So for example, if it's June, if this answer right here is June, it's going to say June at, and then right here it's going to say time of the appointment converted to Eastern time. So it's going to convert that to 5 p.m., right? For example. And then here I'll just say Eastern time. Okay? Then it'll say you'll receive a calendar invite shortly. Please just accept the invite so I know you received it. Then the assistant is going to proceed to say their goodbyes. So let's hear this in action, right? So you guys can understand what it actually sounds like. Here we go. Let me know if you guys are able to hear this.
Hey, this is Anna from the AI Gency Vault. Am I speaking with Kevin?
Yeah, this is Kevin.
First off, welcome. I saw you filled out our form, so I'd love to chat for a couple of minutes about how we can get you started with voice AI and possibly even connect you with Kevin, the owner of the community. Sound good?
Yeah, sure.
Great. Just curious at how many people on your team are currently handling calls or customer interactions. Is it all manual right now, or do you have some systems in place?
It's all manual. I think we have around like 4 people.
Got it. With a team of 4, voice AI could really help by automating routine calls and freeing up your team for more important tasks. How about we set up a meeting with the team to walk you through the next steps?
Sure.
Awesome. What time zone are you in? Our meetings are booked in the Eastern time zone, so I want to make sure we get the timing right for you.
I'm in Pacific Standard Time, so in California.
Perfect. Thanks for letting me know. Let's see. We have availability on Monday, May 5th at either 7 a.m. or 9 a.m. your time. Do either of those work for you?
9 a.m. works.
Great.
Yeah, that should be good.
Great. I'm going to send you a calendar invite. What's the best email address for you?
It's kevincamposlopez@gmail.com.
Perfect. Thank you. I'll book your appointment for 9 a.m. on Monday, May 5th, Pacific time. You'll receive a calendar invite shortly. Just please accept the invite so I know you received it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm really excited to have you in the community, and I'm sure voice AI will make a big difference for your team. Let's chat more soon. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye. Alrighty. So this is a good question. Brian, wouldn't we want the confirmation to be stated in the user's time zone? Yeah, so there's ways to work around this. Like in this case, in this call, it actually mentioned, the user's time zone. You guys can test around with it. I've just figured that it's more consistent when actually saying the time zone that you're having the real time booking in. However, if you're using your own API calls, you can basically book the call right then and there and then state it as the user's time zone, right? So it's up to you guys, but this is just the simplest way that you guys can just press a couple of buttons and then have it work, right? For multiple time zones. If you're looking for a more intricate way, right, then you could use API calls in order to do so, which extract the time zone from the user, figure out the time zone, the free slots, right, for that calendar in the user's time zones, and then book the meeting with that. Right? That's just another method that you could use with it. But it's a little too complicated and way too much time to go over, like in this call or webinar. So I'm using the easy version first, right? Eventually, we'll start growing up until that point, but it does take a lot of, a lot of time. Alrighty. So as you guys heard right now, you guys can see that pretty much it was able to book us into a meeting, and this was earlier. So if I go to calendars, there it is. Yep. So this was earlier, as you guys could see. It booked me in earlier for 2 p.m. And then pretty much we can go over the automation now, right? So what's going to happen as soon as somebody submits as soon as somebody finishes the call itself, what we're going to do is we're going to grab this inbound webhook trigger right here. You guys can see. And in here, we're essentially going to plug that into the assistant. So over here in deployment, you're going to plug it in and then initialize in the button right here on the right side. Once you do that, you're going to map the reference right here. You're going to select the newest one. And then after doing this, you're going to see that you'll have all of the info extractors that we collected and have them work. So then we're going to find the contact using the contact's phone number. We're going to create the contact if the contact hasn't been created yet. And then we're going to update in case, right? In case we're able to find one, right? A contact per se. So here we're going to be putting the call ID. We're going to be putting over the call recording, the call transcript, and then any fields that you want to add onto it. In this case, I don't really need these. This is just an example. But you guys get the gist on what you want to add on there. It could be if they were interested, or they're not interested, what they were interested in, whatever you want. You can put it in here. After this, we're going to identify whether the call reached voicemail, whether the call failed, or they answered the call itself. And we do that by checking the status of each call, right? So here, all you need to do is go over to the inbound webhook trigger, click on status, click on contains, and then write completed, right? As in the status is completed. So the call was completed. Then these are the ones for call failed, which is just failed. Reached a voicemail is hang up on voicemail. No answer, which is said like that. And then busy. Save that. And that should be good, right? Now, if the call was answered, obviously we're going to have a note happen with all the information of the call itself. And then we're going to remove tags that are added down here. So if they were a past person, we would just remove all these, right? Because there's no need to have duplicates. Now, from here, the only one that we're actually going to be changing, because keep in mind, I have gone over this workflow. I have gone over this workflow before. Essentially, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go down the interested booked appointment path. All right, if somebody booked an appointment. And the only thing you're going to update is the user appointment date. So how do you create the user appointment date custom field? All you're going to do is go to settings, go to custom fields, go to folders, and then you add the field right here. Okay? Which is just going to be a single line field. That's going to say that appointment book, user appointment date. Okay? Now, once you do that, you're basically updating this only if somebody books an appointment. Now, what you're going to do here is this is essentially going to grab the appointment that was booked. All right. So an appointment is booked by this action that we set up originally, right? The first action we talked about. And then the appointment date that we talked about that updates that contact field is here, right? Because we're converting the time of the appointment to the user's time zone in this format. So that's what we're updating in this one right here. Appointment date, as you can see. That's it. So from here on out, whenever somebody does get booked into an appointment, right here, what's going to happen is it's going to go down. Let's just think about it as in like it's just one singular workflow, and it would start from, let's say, here, right? Appointment confirmation. This appointment confirmation, the only thing that would need to be changed here is the date and time, right? So this date and time is going to be the user's appointment date, which is, as you guys called it, this right here. This is the value that we're going to give them, right? So we're going to give them the time and date of their appointment using this. So that way it notifies them in their time zone. All right. So do keep that in mind, right? That's what we're using this for. Now from there, we are essentially doing the same thing with the SMS, right? Appointment date. We're doing that with the appointment confirmation, which is the appointment date here. And then that should essentially be it, as you guys can tell right now. Okay? So that is basically how you guys are capable of logging logging multiple time zones whenever you're booking in an appointment with a Go High Level calendar. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and I will go ahead and start answering some questions here. All right. So let's start with the first one. This is great. Can we also go over how to create a bot to dial out to re-engage cold leads to get them into a calendar booking? Actually, I already have done this, and it should already be part of one of the events that I did for reactivating cold leads. So give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I can bring it up for you guys. Hello, can you guys hear me now? I think my mic cut off. All right, let's see now. So can we go over how to create the to re-engage cold leads? Yeah, so essentially, if you go to the events tab here, you're going to see a lot of the past ones, right? So if you do lead, here it is. How to reactivate old real estate leads using voice AI. But I go over the entire thing. Like I go over how to essentially be able to reactivate cold leads, which is the same thing, and you could just change the niche and that's it. So hopefully that helps you out right there. Kevin solo trabaja las automatizaciones en el mismo Synthflow, también usa otras plataformas como Make and Aiden. Yeah, so Juan, I basically use mainly Go High Level for my automations, but you can do this with Make, you can do this with N8N, you can do this with Synthflow internally, right? In Synthflow's workflows. It's all up to you. I just find Go High Level being the easiest and our best integration, in my personal opinion. And because we're able to run so many calls, because the simplicity is just there, right? So do keep that in mind. But yeah, you can use Make and N8N depending on which one. Did you design this workflow, or it's automated based on the prompt you created? Yeah, no, these workflows need to be designed. They all need to be designed. So this one and this one I made myself. Well, all the workflows that I have, I just made myself. Um, so you're gonna have to make this basically. But I explain in multiple other events, right, how to make this. I only explain in this one how to do the time zone thing, right? And now, can you show us what you have running before the call to pull the current date and time? Yeah, of course. Yeah, if you want to see that, you can definitely see that. I don't personally use this in this prompt, but this is the API call that gathers the current date and time. All right. So you just call this and you can set it to American New York or whatever time zone you want. And pretty much it'll get the current time. So if I go to action results, as you can see right here, if I initialize that action, never mind, it failed. Well, I'll figure that out as we go. But it was gathering the date and time. But as I mentioned, there's not really a need for this. So I can actually just like remove it from the current one. You can just use a world clock, basically. You just look up world clock API and it can get you. So if I go world clock API for New York. Something is up. There it is. Yeah, you can get the APIs from something like this, and you can just call it. It's essentially the same thing. And there's also multiple YouTube videos that show you how to do it. So hopefully that helps you out, product mentor. Alrighty, let's go into this one. You've had problems connecting the Synthflow URL in N8N. Okay, so with the Synthflow problems from N8N, I don't really use N8N that much, so I can't really tell you too well, depending on what the solution is for this. But it's a bit vague what you're telling me. I don't know what URL you're talking about, and I don't know what you're trying to connect. So I can't really help you out with that. But if you want, after this, you could send me a notification inside of my community, and then I can help you out with it, right? Or the Synthflow community, whichever one you want to do. So talking about that, while we're here, this is my current community right here, which currently we have 415 people that basically are all into voice AI. So do keep in mind that if you join this, you do have, a lot of free snapshots. Like for example, the one that you asked about earlier, where it shows you how to nurture leads right here. Right, we have one for apartment complex receptionist, abandoned cart recoveries, and all these. Right, lead reactivation AI build. This is the one that you're looking for, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, all these are free snapshots that I've just made for you guys. And we have a good amount of things here that you guys can, benefit from, like a free course. We also have an academy, which goes way more into depth of how to do stuff with Synthflow, and all these things. And the only thing you need to do to join is just submit this information here in this link, which I'll leave in the chat right now. And then you guys are going to be able to, go ahead and access all these things. But it's going to save you like so much time, weeks even, in my opinion. All right. Can you connect to the external calendar like Gmail for booking the appointment? Yeah, of course. So what you would do in order to be able to connect it to something like Google Calendar, right? All you need to do is make this connection right here. Let's go calendars, connections right here. And using this, you can just connect your Google Calendar right? So as you can see, it's linked to this calendar. And then if I go over here to the calendar that I was booking in, I can go to edit the calendar. And then I go to connections. And as you can see, it's linked on a two-way basis to my calendar. All right. So it's pretty simple to do so. But that's how you would do it, pretty much. That is basically how you would do it. So do keep that in mind. That's how you can connect to multiple. That's how you can connect to a Google Calendar. All right. Perfect. Let's save that. All right. So hopefully that answers most of your guys' questions. I'm going to start sharing the screen now. If you guys have any more questions, obviously drop them down below. I do have up until 3, but I'm not entirely sure if we'll need all that time. So yeah, I'll go ahead and wait. Of course. Yep, Juan. Basically, for that issue, if you want, you can message me, and then we can talk about it. Since that seems like more of a technical issue, and I could definitely help out with that after this webinar. Question: is there a note at the end of your prompt? There is a note at the end of your prompt. Oh, that's just, you don't need that. That's fine. Yeah. That was I just used the prompt for the AI Agency Vault, which is, the community I told you guys about just now. It's not serving it's serving a purpose for me, essentially, just to note like who I am and all that stuff. If anybody asks, it's kind of like a knowledge base, essentially. But no need for you guys. I could just remove that and you should be good. Yep, no worries, Brian. And Juan, I dropped the link there for you so you can join. That's basically the link where you can talk to me in. Alrighty. Well, if there's no further questions, I do appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for joining up, obviously, on a Friday. You guys should be having some free time right now. Go out, touch some grass, have a good time, but also make some money with Voice AI. Let's do this. All right. Thank you guys for joining. I will see you guys next week.